Alright, so this channel I have not uploaded on in months. And there's a reason for that. I'll be real, I'm not one that likes to suffer in public. And reacting to Tottenham has just been suffering in public. Like, if I put the reaction out, there's nothing good to react about. Let me give you a stat: 2 wins in 13 out of both domestic cup competitions. Antonin Kinski in that Newcastle game, terrible. Should never put on a shirt again. Today I was at the game. What a privilege to be in a beautiful stadium. What a disservice I was done on the pitch by the tactics. Thomas Frank, man, like I'm all for being risk averse. You know, you look at the problems last year. Frank's probably coming in and saying this squad, they just leak a lot of goals. Let me sort that out. To be fair, he sorted that out to a degree. We're not top of the league when it comes to goals conceded. We're probably mid-table, probably on the higher end. We've kept a fair amount of clean sheets, but we're not excelling to the point where it negates the lack of tactics, the lack of impetus from Thomas Frank, because it can't be the players. I'm sorry. Like, little things like we're defending in a 4-4-2 shape here. That from the time I've been born, that was the shape that Man U used to dominate. Arsenal went between it and the 4-4-3 when they had their little thing, their little three titles from 1998 to 2004. Chelsea, I'm pretty sure they used to defend in that shape. And then it kind of merged into the 4-2-3-1, which is what Spurs kind of claim to be. But I know the players, like, when you look at the great managers, a lot of them is about how they set up in a shape and this and that. You got your Guardiolas. But for the most part, the top managers, it's about getting players into positions where their qualities can shine. I'm sorry, Xavi, today he was actually brilliant. He had some class dribbles, like just taking on players. But you can't sit there and tell me the best position to get Xavi on the pitch is defending as a left striker, doing all of that movement. Then when we get the ball back, he has to drop in and find space. Like, I can see him doing so much more in a 4-3-3 as the left centre mid in that half space, similar to how Foden gets that license in that half space on the right side. But that's the complete opposite of what Frank's doing. But even within that 4-4-2, when you shift Xavi out to the left, why am I seeing us get the ball goes out to the right side? It's now Xavi's time to find some space. But it's clear that he's been told to just hold his width, wait for the ball to come back around. Where Xavi really excels in getting into that pocket, into that half space, getting in between that fullback and that centre back. The strikers are all over there anyway. But the minute it goes from our right mid, who was our right mid at that time? Probably Kolo Muani by this point, or Dane Scarlett. The minute they can't take on their man on the outside and they look inside, play a pass to Polino. Polino, I'll be real, he's never threading this pass, but Archie Gray, for argument's sake in this case. Xavi's not been instructed to be anywhere near that half space on the left side where he can actually cook. You fizz that ball into him, his first touch is quality. He gets to jinking, he gets to sizing up his guy. He can go inside or outside, and then the run can be there from the striker, Solanke towards the end, Kolomoani at the start. He can play them, he can use their run to go inside and shoot. Like, I'm just not seeing the attacking impetus. I'm not seeing the attacking threat due to the tactics. It's like we're just so, like, focused on conserve. Don't concede. By the time Kudus, when he was fit, by the time he gets on the ball, he ain't got the energy. He's 5 yards too deep to start off with. He doesn't receive the ball in space, so he can just tap as he likes to do, start off his dribble slow, wait till guys get close, commit them, go inside. He's forced to hold that width. The ball gets out to him. All he's got is touch line, bit of space on the touch line. one guy, the other guy on the inside, the centre mid or the left mid tracking back to double up on him. He's so good at taking on his man, even on the outside, and then stopping and then going back onto his left. But it's like, as a striker, I've played striker growing up my whole life. As a striker, at what point do I make the run with these tactics from Thomas Frank when Kudus is in his dribbling motion? Once he's going forward. Sorry, that's a real basketball term when he's in his dribbling motion. But you get what I mean. At what point, as the right striker or the main striker, at what point do I go? Do I go in behind? He's not high enough for me to get a lateral pass in a little pocket of space. So the pass has to be linear. It has to go forward. But at what point? He's all the way out there. If I go over to be an option, by the time I get the ball, I'm outside the box on the right side, or I'm barely in the box on the right side. The ball's not going to be great enough. Like, that's not one of Kudus's main strengths, like putting it on a dime for a player on the floor or in the air. Like, he can link up. But at what point as a striker do I feel like I'm making a movement and this movement's going to result in me scoring a goal? Frank, there's no modern striker that we can sign that can do it all. Like, an amazing striker to sign would be Julian Alvarez. We couldn't sign a Julian Alvarez right now because all the movements that he makes that result in good things happening, dropping in, linking up with players, body feinting, carrying the ball 30 yards, recycling it. He just doesn't have the space within the setup. So when I look at the transfers, like, there's not much hope. And I wasn't Frank in to start with. I wasn't impressed by the managerial choice. One thing with Tottenham, we go back and forth. So we go from an attacking manager, Pochettino, getting Mourinho, sack Mourinho, get Ryan Mason, get Nuno. Okay, that's defensive again. We're defensive still. Sack Nuno, get Conte. Conte was brilliant, got us top four. If you look at that squad, he got us top four with terrible. Conte's had enough. He says, you know what? The way this club is run, the players, they don't want to be in tough situations. Like, the whole thing's wrong. You're not putting them in positions to where they feel like winners. Okay, the Conte train runs over. Or was it Stellini? Then we go to like 5 to 10 different managers all rejecting the job. We get Postecoglou. Says, I think it's his quote that it's one of the hardest jobs or the hardest job in football because you got to win a title and you're just given not a lot. He comes in, oh my lord. Never have I ever enjoyed watching a game in which we don't win as much as I did with Postecoglou. And it all resulted in a European trophy. These are the things, when we're in our conversations as fans, with fans that are rivals, we know London is dominated by Arsenal fans. Then you got your Man U, you got your Chelsea. I'll be real, Chelsea, the fans there's not too many fans, especially in my area. Then you've got your Liverpools in it and your odd ones. But for the main part, it's Arsenal, Tottenham, Man U, Chelsea, Liverpool. I'll be real, we had that over them because Arsenal have never won a European trophy. You can leave it in the comments, Cup Winners' Cup and whatnot. But yeah, that's a glorified friendly, innit? Whatever. We won a Cup Winners' Cup as well. We don't claim that. But a European trophy in terms of the Europa League, it's like, damn, like, finally got over that hump. And then it's like, you're just hearing in the media, Postecoglou will get the sack. You're hearing stuff on both sides, yeah, he might survive. But you just get this feeling like, yeah, you know what? After he's had that whole parade and he said, season 3 is always better than season 2 in the best Netflix series. You don't even give him the chance to go until October, November. Yeah, league form. we finished on what, the lowest amount of points to not get relegated or something like that. But we did have a lot of wins. We just didn't draw a lot of games last year. We either lost or we won. So like it was bad, but it wasn't all bad. You go to November, you go to October last season before all the injuries. Like our injuries were ridiculous. And yeah, you can say it's not sustainable, but it wasn't the end of the world. Our goal difference was high up until mid to late season. We scored a lot of goals. We conceded in the top six in terms of least conceded goals for a long time last season. You look at our stats, the chances created and stuff from the football that we were watching. The quality of our squad has deteriorated over time. Let's be real. Son, his legs were going, but he'd still bring you 10 or 15 goals all competitions. That's good enough. We decided to part ways with Son. I wasn't too against that, but now looking in our season, like Son would have to do doggies because he would either be left mid or he could be that left striker pressing and then just stay up there. But one thing I'd say about Son, I'd expect him to have at least 5 league goals right now. Kolo Muani doesn't have a goal. Xavi's got what, one goal. Richarlison's got like 6. Richarlison is fighting off scraps. But it's just all wrong. So where I'm at, Thomas Frank, 2 wins in 13. Other managers have been sacked for less. I'm not too low on Frank, but I'm also not high on him at all. He's a manager that belongs in the Premier League, I believe, at the club that he was at before he joined Tottenham. In an idealistic world, Tottenham sack Frank, get an interim, go to the summer, sign a Xavi type manager, a philosophy manager, a Luis Enrique. Like these guys, that their philosophy, they just understand football. They look at our squad, they're like, the quality's a bit lacking in front of goal when it comes to finishing. But I got one finisher in there. I got Solanke. Madison's back fit. He's getting into his 30s, but he can still be a creative force. Kulusevski, hopefully he comes back from injury as good, but another creative force. Kudus has got a lot of, deficiencies in his game when it comes to his end product, but I could work with that take on success rate. I could work with those dribbles. That midfield, though, this is where I'm going to move on to the segment where I just talk about transfer targets. The top of our list should be Morgan Rogers. I've been saying it since last summer. It's not out there online, so you can believe me if you want. But I've been saying since last summer, I liked Eze. I would have liked to sign Eze. I think we flopped in the time going for Eze, letting Jack Grealish go to Everton, because we've always been fans of Jack Grealish. But because we were so focused on getting Eze, we didn't let Grealish come. Xavi Simons, great young player with bags of potential, but he doesn't need to be our main man. He's not at that level yet where he can be your main man. Let him build into it. Great player to have within the squad. But Tottenham, I know I'm going on tangents, but I will link it back up. But Tottenham, like, we give off the aura, we give off the energy with the big statements of getting a £1 billion stadium. Having a stadium that only Arsenal and Man U, in terms of sheer volume, can chat to us on. Everton are there and about, so I'm pretty sure they're less though. But we've got bigger stadiums than, bigger capacities than West Ham, or Bun West Ham, the small club. But we know they have a big stadium, the Olympic Stadium. Our stadium is bigger than that. Liverpool, their stadium is smaller than us. Everton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, all these teams have smaller stadiums than us. So it kind of gives off the energy. Me being at the stadium today, it's like, wow, like, this would be a great place to actually watch my team win some games. But on the squad level, they're just getting it so wrong to the point where it's like, other teams, you look at the transfer strategies, even the teams down below, Brentford, Nottingham Forest in the summer, they're doing whack right now, but Nottingham Forest signed some amazing players in some good positions. Hutchinson, that I like. James McAtee. They have previous signings like Elliot Anderson, Morgan Gibbs-White from Wolves. Igor Jesus, he was good at the Club World Cup. But then you look at Tottenham, it's like we struggle so much because we're penny pinching that by the time we get the transfer done, it's like we should have had 2 or 3 transfers done. So to cap it off, I would like a manager that's a philosophy manager, whether he's up and coming, someone I don't know about too well, like I didn't know about Postecoglou much. Um, I've got my Rangers thing on. That's all I knew about Postecoglou. He was the manager for Celtic. I didn't know about the football. At that time, I didn't catch any of the derbies, but I don't mind going for a philosophy manager again. I'm not a big fan on the risk-averse managers. We've been there, we've done that. If you're not going to sign the quality of players in the transfer market, there's no point playing this tit for tat old school football where you limit the amount of mistakes you make, but you rely on these individual moments and the players that you have making something out of it. When the players that you're buying are like Madison, maybe 2 or 3 years after you wanted him. Solanke, solid player, but he needs a good team to thrive. Last season he picked up off scraps. Kudus, someone who's a solid player but doesn't score goals. Got young players like Odeber, great dribbler, 20 years old, something like that. He's just not there yet. Matthias Tell, someone who looked like he would be a world beater when he was 18 at Bayern, coming on for like Kane and doing his thing. Our defense is okay. I think it's a bit overhyped by the fan base. Van der Ven is £100 million player. Romero's about a £60 million player. Porro's like 30. Spencer's like 35 maybe. Udogi's like 25, 30. Vicario is like 10 mil. You could have a better goalkeeper. Danso is a very good player, played well today. But the transfers that I'd like to sign, Morgan Rogers, not happening now. We had a chance to be on that level in the mind of a player like Morgan Rogers. It may have never happened. You may laugh at me for even saying that. But in the summer, coming off the back of winning the Europa League, tell me what you want about the league form. But Tottenham kind of, after you go the upper echelons, the very, very big clubs, the Man City now, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham is that next best thing. The only argument would be for Rodgers being at Aston Villa, a club with a lot of history, a good club. Would it be a lateral move? Yeah, it probably will, because we haven't consistently finished in the top 4 to attain Champions League since Pochettino, and we're just a bit of a mess. But Morgan Rogers, he'd be at the top of the list. He's just the same build of Jude Bellingham, but his technique isn't as methodical as Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham he'll be a bit more technically astute with the way that he plays, like the way he receives the ball. Whereas Morgan Rogers, he has that in his game. He can do it. Like, he can receive how he wants to receive the ball on the half turn, or where he needs, does the cute little turns. But what he does have that Jude just won't do is he'll put a guy on his shoulder, take a chop back, use his big frame, then chop it back again, like in one fluid, quick movement. Like that jink. If you know what jink is, he has that jink. That Bellingham, I think he's got it in his locker, but he just doesn't use. But Rodgers, amazing player. Then the next player I'd like to sign is Felix Nemetra from Borussia Dortmund. Just a solid player. I wouldn't mind signing Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This is me thinking in the system that we're playing now. You know, provided Frank gets sacked, we may be looking at different players. But yeah, we could probably offload Bentancur at some point. Probably a good player for the squad, but he can go win titles at like at Atletico Madrid or in Italy. He could go to like a mid-table team or Milan or something like that, one of the Milan sides. But yeah, definitely Felix Nemetra. I wouldn't mind signing Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I don't know about the fullbacks on the left side that are that great at the moment. I'm satisfied with our right back options in terms of Pedro Porro and Jed Spence. Even though Jed Spence, I can't lie, he was very bad today. Going up to the right wing now, Kulusevski, I'd see him more of a midfielder now. Kudus, that's not enough to just be the out and out right winger. Like, he needs to be rotated. He needs to have games where we just don't need him because he does have his limitations, and scoring goals and being decisive in games is one of them. Looking out there, wingers in football, there's not too many bagsmen, but this is where it's down to Tottenham to use these people that they're paying thousands and thousands of pounds to do the scouting, to find these players that are on the wing. They may not be as good in build-up play like a Son. Son wasn't the greatest at linking up and being cute with it, but one thing he had his moves. He would go to his moves. He had his step over, he'd go right, step over, he'd go left. He had a lot of pace. He could carry the ball. It would be great if a player like Luca Williams-Barnett could get some more minutes. It was good to see Dane Scarlett get on the pitch today, although I didn't like the role that he was thrust into. But yeah, I can't pinpoint one thing because there's so many things going wrong with Tottenham now. But one thing I'll say is, as a fan, I'm still going to tune in. I'm still going to watch the games. I do have a membership, so all these cheap games I will be going to. The big games I'm quite disinterested in because at the end of the day I have feelings, innit? Why am I going to put my feelings on the line? To go to the game, to watch my team get cooked against a Liverpool, against a Man City, no, maybe not Man City, but you know what I mean. We've lost 5-6 times at home this season. It's not great. But Tottenham, man, it's all going wrong. In the January transfer window, we are looking cooked. We need a all-action midfielder who can be decisive. Papsar, why has he been filtered out of the squad? He's that guy in terms of having the ability to do a bit of everything. But at the end of the day, the experience in our squad is just not there, especially at the top end of the pitch. So you can go sign someone who's a proven goal scorer. But yeah, we're cooked. We're actually cooked. But yeah, I realise I'm coming to the end of my thoughts. Going forward, looking into the games, I'm expecting us to lose maybe 2 out of our next 5, which is unacceptable. So if Frank is still here by the time our next Premier League game, there will be a lot of questions, as there already are a lot of questions. Pochettino got sacked for less. But yeah, I'm nonchalant because I've been a Tottenham fan for years now. I can't get emotionally invested to the point where it'll ruin my whole day. Otherwise, you'd be worried for my mental health because my day would be ruined so consistently because we're just losing and losing and losing. But I do want good for Tottenham. I see a lot of talent in the squad in terms of Odegaard, Xavi Simons, Papsar, Bergval, Jed Spence, Udogie, Van der Ven. But it needs that experience. It needs them players that can turn the game on its head. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Spurs. Filled you in the whole 2 months that I've missed in one video. Who would have thought that? But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.